Okay, so having a bash today at fixing a talking can for the first time. Hopefully the video will capture. I think I repaired one many years ago, but I don't really remember quite how. It's different to Talking Barbie and repairing those. So I just got a couple of junker talkers off eBay to kind of mess around with. So at the moment I've got his hips that have been soaking in a mug of freshly boiled water, and I'm just going to see. Oh, okay. Ow, very hot. Okay, so that's how. But I think this. So that's how it's done. So I think you. Let me just check. So with his chest facing towards one, you want to lift it up that way. But I think it will need to soak in the hot water just to kind of soften things a little bit. And I can see, yeah, maybe once I open him that I may have to just fix here a little bit, but that's fine. Then I'm just gonna, oh well, let's just submerge his entire body. Usually I'll put a clear plastic bag into the mug of water before I then put the torso, because usually that helps keep it dry. Which is what I did with this Talking Barbie I'm going to be repairing as well. But I won't be really showing her on this video because I have a bunch of other videos on repairing Talking Barbie. So I'm just going to pull Ken out and just sort of see. So I can see his arm here. Okay, and then that pulls out quite easily after the soak in the hot water. Okay, I'm just going to move the mug down. And I'm just going to look for my razors. So yes, we've got his limbs off. So he only came with one arm, and then the two legs. And then to open him up, so I'm not entirely sure, but what I'm going to do is just follow the seam lines here. And I'm going in sort of blindly because I'm not sure. Whoop. Okay, so that's one side open, and then I can see there's a seam. From the looks of it along the shoulders that will go up. another one there. Let's come here. But from what I can see, there's no seam coming down along there. So I'm thinking that you can sort of see along here. So I think this area is going to be molded into the back half of his torso. Okay. Oop. I went off a little bit. But as I said, this is just a junk torso, so I'm not unduly concerned about damaging it. Okay, but I think that's got it through. And then I'm guessing there's also going to be maybe some kind of, or maybe there isn't. Okay. Oh, okay. I was quite right. And then looking inside, so I am pretty sure so I don't have a talking, actually that's what I'll do. Sorry, I was going to say I don't have a Talking Barbie open to compare the inner workings, but what I'm going to do, but what I have seen, haha, okay, I can see that I've cut through, I think, or maybe that just broke off, the little peg that holds the arm for the record player. That shouldn't be too hard to get that back on, I think. But then again, I may not need to worry because I'm not going to bother trying to restore this. I think he's a little too far gone. Okay. So let me get this. Okay, that was from Ken. So let's get this Barbie torso opened. I will be a little slower with this because this is a doll I am restoring, so I don't want to damage anything. Okay. I think she's opening up quite easily. Okay, so that's the bottom done, then it's just the other side. Then I'm going to come up here. There. Okay, so she's opened, hopefully. There's one bit that's not quite there. Okay, so I'm just going to make sure, yeah, that it's in shot still. So here's the two torsos, and as I suspected and as I vaguely remembered, the actual talking mechanism is exactly the same in Talking Ken as it is in Talking Barbie. So that's the frame that holds everything in, and I can see it's exactly the same size. And I can tell everything else is exactly the same too, the same size and so on. So I'm not going to do a walkthrough video on repairing talking mechanism in Talking Ken, because it will be exactly the same as repairing the mechanism for any Talking Barbie, Stacy, Christy. So let's just pop that up there. And so I'm just having a look along. Yeah, so when you're opening up the torso, let me pull that together. So with Talking Barbie, there are little pegs. So originally that would have just, this half would have just had a hole there, and you pull needle in, and you can sort of see the cut plastic. That would have been a peg on the other side. Here, if I show you, so that's where pegs were. So two up at the top, and then there's another couple down at the bottom. So they would have gone in 1, 2, 3, 4. To align everything. So when you're opening a Talking Barbie, you usually have to cut through these. So the arm knobs you have to cut through, then the 4 pegs, as well as, so there's thicker, I'm guessing that maybe these were glued in too, and that the other half, well, this bit would originally have been on the other side of the torso, but there are thicker areas you have to cut through, and again here it's a slightly thicker area to cut through when you're opening it up. So that's why if you look at me when I'm cutting through, you can see me sort of rocking through certain areas. They seem, they're a little harder to get through, but with Talking Ken, so I'm just thinking as far as sort of reassembling, that all the pegs are pretty much, are far enough away or don't need to be cut through. So really all you're doing is cutting through just these edges. So, neck and shoulders, and then sides with torso. This didn't feel glued down here, whether that was just this doll or whether it's all of them. I am not sure. I've seen him take off that bit. So when you go to glue cam back together, yeah, obviously one will have applied the glue or the solvent along the edges, but it kind of snaps back together quite easily. So yeah, so that's hopefully gives you a notion of how to open up the Talking Ken torso, how to remove his limbs, ready to repair him to talk, and then yeah, the reassembling is pretty straightforward. Just apply glue, pop them back together and let it cure. So there we go, hope that's helpful.